Hello my dear students, welcome back to my channel. Today in this video we are going to learn a class 10 English chapter The Eyes Are Not Yours question and answers. The explanation of this chapter is already uploaded in my channel and the link of that video will be shared in the description for your convenience. So let's move on to the question answers of this chapter. But before that, students, there's one more surprise for you all in the description box below. There will be a link shared which contains the Hindi lessons, explanation, and question answers of Standard 10 Karnataka Board. So you may go click the link, visit the channel, see the video. If you like it, like the video and do subscribe the channel and take the fullest benefits. Okay, so now let's move on. But before that, students, if you are viewing my video for the first time, do subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you get the notifications of my all the upcoming videos. Watch the video till end, and if you like it, do hit the like button and share with your friends. So now let's move on and without wasting time, start the question answers. So we have comprehension questions, and under that we have answer briefly the following questions. First question is a multiple choice question. The narrator guessed that the couple who saw the girl off at Rohana were probably her parents because. So narrator was guessing when he heard the couple at the station who was just speaking to a girl at Rohana station. So what were his guesses? That A, they were middle aged. B, they seemed very anxious. C, they accompanied the girl to the railway station. D, they gave detailed instructions about the care she had to take. So the answer is D. They gave detailed instructions about the care she had to take. Right? This was heard by the narrator when he was sitting inside in his compartment. Okay, so moving on to next question. Why did the narrator feel that he would never be able to discover something about girls' looks? So when we go through the chapter, we come to know that narrator feels that he will not be able to discover or know about the girl's looks. Why did he feel so? So answer is the narrator was blind at the time and his eyes were sensitive to darkness and light. As he could not see the girl's appearance, narrator felt that he would never be able to discover about the girl's looks. So we have gone through the chapter and we know that narrator was blind at that particular time and his eyes were very sensitive to darkness and light and he was not able to see the girl's appearance. As he was blind, he was not able to see the girl's appearance. So that was the reason that narrator felt that he would never be able to discover about the girl's looks. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. The narrator was born completely blind. Say true or false? So the answer is false because he was not born blind. We come to know because he was discussing and he was commenting on. He was sharing his experience of visiting a Missouri in the month of October with the girl. So this shows that he had his eyesight. He was not blind by his birth. Okay. Next question. What did the narrator infer when the girl was startled by his voice? So, what did narrator feel when the girl was shocked by his voice? What decision he came to? Like, what did he felt? What thoughts came in his mind when the girl was startled? Means when the girl was shocked by his voice. So, answer is the narrator inferred that as he was sitting in a corner and it was dark, the girl failed to see him. He also felt that, like all people with good eyesight, even she had failed to see what was right in front of her. So the narrator he came to the final decision, like thoughts which came into his mind when girl got shocked by his was that because I'm sitting in the corner and it was dark, she could not make out. She failed to see me. And then he also felt that people which who are having good eyesight, they they tend not to see what is right in front of them. So if the people who have a good eyesight, they usually miss something which is there in front of them. So in the same way the girl also did, the same thing. Though she is having a good eyesight, she failed to see me because he never knew that the girl was blind. Okay, so these were the thoughts he inferred while the girl startled from his voice. Next, the girl told the narrator that her aunt was meeting her at Saharanpur. She said this probably because A. She wanted to introduce her aunt to the narrator. B. She wanted to convey a message that he could not take advantage of her, thinking that she was alone. Or C, it was a casual remark. Okay, so the question is, the girl, she told the narrator that her aunt will be there at Saharanpur. So why did she say? What was the reason behind that? We have seen the three options, and the answer is B. She wanted to convey a message that he could not take advantage of her, thinking that she was alone. Like, to be at a safer side, she just gave a message that her aunt will be soon meeting her. Okay. Next, moving to the sixth question. How could the narrator, being blind, describe Missouri? Okay, so question is, while we know that the narrator is blind, how could we describe Missouri? So we have already seen in the chapter that he was not born blind. So let us write the answer. Answer is, the narrator was not born blind. Probably he might have seen Missouri when he had eyesight. The narrator also tells that the best time to visit Missouri was October and the hills covered with wild dahlias. Thus, narrator could describe Missouri. Okay, so we have already seen the narrator was not born blind. So probably when he was having his eyesight, he might have visited Missouri and he had seen everything, and that is how he is able to describe and tell about Missouri. And he also emphasized on the month, which month is best suitable to visit the Missouri, that is October. And he also describes the hills which are covered with beautiful wild dahlias. It's a kind of yellow flowers, and then the narrator was able to describe Missouri in this manner because he had already been there when he was having his eyesight. Okay, then I hope these answers are clear. Let's move on to the next one. With what intention did the narrator remark that the girl had an interesting face? Okay, so what was the intention, reason behind narrator remarking, or commenting the girl that she had an interesting face? Answer is, the narrator did not wanted to reveal his blindness, so to impress the girl and let her think that he was not blind, he remarks that she had an interesting face. Okay, so we have learned the chapter, read the chapter. We know that narrator did not wanted to disclose his blindness. He did not wanted other people to know that he is blind. So in order to impress the girl and let her think that he was not blind, he says this comment that she has an interesting face. So with this, the girl will not think that he's blind. So that is why he said this comment to a girl. Okay. Next, hiding his blindness was a dash for the narrator. Was it a challenge, game, or child's play? You have to choose the correct answer. So answer is game. Hiding his blindness was a game for the narrator. Okay, next one. The new fellow traveler had made out that the girl was blind. Say true or false. So, the new traveler who came in the compartment, he gave the message that the girl was blind. Is it true or false? So, the answer is true. It is the fellow traveler who said the narrator that the girl was blind. Okay. Next question. The story ends with a revelation. What is the revelation? There is something which is opened up. Revelation means which is revealed, which is disclosed. At the end, something is disclosed. What is that revelation? What is the disclosed message here? So the answer is, the revelation is that the girl had beautiful eyes, but they were of no use to her as she was completely blind. Okay, so at the end of the chapter, the narrator reveals, he discloses, he comes to know that the girl had very beautiful eyes, but they were of no use to her because she was completely blind. And this is what the revelation which we come to know at the end of the lesson. End of the story. Let's move on to the next one. The narrator and the girl reveal something about themselves through their words and actions. So here there are adjectives listed in the box below. Describe the narrator and the girl. Put each word either under the narrator or the girl. Then some qualities may be common to both. So here, students, there are some words, some adjectives which are given here, which describes the character of a narrator and or a girl and a girl. So you have to pick up that adjectives and write under that column to which it suits. If it's suiting, if it's going with narrator, if it's describing a narrator's character, you have to write in the narrator. If it's describing the girl's character, you have to write it under girl column, and few of the adjectives may be suitable for both of it. So I've done for it. Let us see. The narrator: romantic, clever, smart, guilty, curious, humorous, suspicious, pretentious, inquisitive. Okay, so these are the adjectives which comes under narrator column. Then under the girl: sentimental, emotional, careful, intuitive, and confident. Okay, so this is how we can divide the adjectives and put it under their own columns. So let's move on to the next main. We have close study, and here you have some of the extracts which you have to discuss and then write the answer to that questions. The first extract here is: you may break, you may shatter the vase if you will, but the scent of the roses will linger there still. So this is an extract which is given. It's actually a kind of thought which is given there, and based on that you have a questions. What is the figure of speech used in the passage above? So this line, it is having some figure of speech. What is it? So the figure of speech used here is metaphor. Comparison is there, indirect comparison. Okay, so it's metaphor. Now next question: what is the was compared to? So the was is compared to a person here. Okay, next, what does the shattering of the vase refer to? So the shattering of the vase refer to a person's going away. When a person's go away, it's like shattering the vase, the one whom you are attached to. Okay. Then, what does the scent of the roses refer to? So it refers to the lingering memories, the sweet memories which are there in your minds, the long lasting memories which does not fade away easily. Okay, so this is what the answer for this extract. Next, let's see the next question. Once again, I had a game to play with a new fellow traveler. So, this is the extract. Based on this, we have questions. First one: what kind of game does the speaker play with his fellow travelers? So, there's some game being played by narrator and the speaker with his fellow travelers. So, what kind of game was it? So, we already know from the chapter. So, let's write the answer. The answer is: the narrator plays the game through which he tries to fool other person by questioning them to know if they have guessed that he was blind. Right? So the game which is played by narrator is he tries to fool other people. He questions by questioning them. He questions such questions to 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 know, to get the answer, to guess whether they have guessed that he is blind or not, whether they came to know that this narrator, this person is blind or not. So in order to know this, he was questioning and he was playing game with the fellow travelers. Okay, so the next sub question is: what do you understand from this about his attitude? So what message you get from this about his attitude? So the answer is: the narrator tries to hide his blindness as he did not want other people to show sympathy. He also thinks that normal sighted people are overconfident about their powers of observation. Okay, so here we come to know that narrator is trying to hide his blindness. He did not wanted to let other people know that he was blind, and he did not wanted other people to show sympathy to him. Like he did not wanted others to feel pity on him. And he also thinks that the people who are having normal sight, they are overconfident about their parts of the observation, whatever eyesight they are having, they are very overconfident about it. So he did not wanted to reveal this. Okay. Then next one. Who had outwitted whom in the game already played by the narrator? So, who had played the trick with whom here during the game which was already played by narrator? So, the answer is the girl had outwitted the narrator. Okay, the girl also played and tricked the narrator here. This move. Let's move on to the next main, that is paragraph writing. We have to discuss the answer and write the points and then into paragraph. So students, I have not written the points here. You can make small and short points with the help of this paragraphs itself. Okay. So let's move on to the first question. Give instances to show that the narrator tried his best to impress on her that he could see during his encounter with the girl. So we come to know various instances where the narrator was trying his best to impress the girl, and when he encountered with her, when he met her. So let's see what are that instances. How was he trying to impress that girl? Simple question. Answer: the narrator starts the conversation with the girl as the train starts. As the girl did not notice the narrator sitting in the compartment and said to the narrator, so he says that even he did not see her but heard her. Then he continues to give vivid description of Missouri in October. He sits in front of the window and pretends to see outside the window and makes general comments about the trees and scenes. At last, he also remarks a comment that the girl had an interesting face. Okay, so narrator how he starts conversing, he starts talking to the girl as soon as the train starts, and then he comes to know that the girl did not notice me, and she says that I was not knowing that you are there in this compartment. So in the reply, he also says, yeah, even I did not see you, but I just heard you. And then he continues his speech and his talk, and he just describes about Masuri, how good it is, and it is so good to visit in the month of October. And then he assumes, he pretends himself, he behaves as if he is seeing out of the window, and he just describes the scenes which by of the trees and the sceneries which is seen outside in a general comments. And then at last he also remarks that the girl had an interesting face. So this all shows that he was trying to impress her, okay, with this instances. So let's move on to the next one. We think we could outwit anyone, but sometimes we may be outwitted by others. Substantiate this with reference to the story. Okay, so the question is, we think that we can make fool anybody, we can make anybody to be fooled, but sometimes we may be fooled by others in this context. So you have to relate this sentence with the reference to this story. Okay, so answer is the narrator plays the game of pretending to be a normal person. He asks them clever questions so that he be assured that they have not guessed that he was blind. When the young girl enters the carriage, he assumes she is normal sighted and tries to impress her. In the process, he fails to notice that the girl is also blind. He learns it only after she gets down at Rohana from the other fellow traveler who entered the compartment after she got down. Thus, the narrator is himself outwitted by the girl. Right, students? We come to know in the chapter that the game which was played by the narrator of assuming and pretending that he is not blind, and he started talking and conversing with the girl. He tried to impress her. He tried to ask many questions to be assured that that the fellow traveler are not guessing that he was blind, and he was hiding everything. But in all this process, he himself failed to notice that the girl is itself blind, and he comes to know this. It is revealed to him this when the girl gets down at her stop at Rohana, and the other person, other fellow traveler, when he gets in the compartment, at that time he comes to know by that fellow traveler that the girl was also blind. So this is how the girl very trickily outwitted the narrator. Okay, so this is how we can substantiate with the story, relate it with the story. Okay, let's moving on to the last question. The story ends with the new fellow traveler telling the narrator that the girl was completely blind. What do you think would be the feelings and the thoughts of the narrator after knowing the truth? Okay, so at the end of the story, we come to know that this new traveler who comes, he says that the narrator that the girl was blind. So after knowing this, what would be the feeling and thoughts of the narrator when he came to know the truth? So answer is, it was the time for the girl to bid goodbye as the train arrived at her destination. As the girl got down, another man entered the compartment and apologized, as a matter of fact, for not being as attractive as a traveling companion as his predecessor. When the narrator asked him about the girl's hair, he replied with interest that he had not noticed her hair but only her eyes, which were beautiful but of no use to her as she was completely blind. This surprising remark would have shocked the narrator and make him feel ashamed of himself, and also would have felt outwitted but sad. Okay, so the answer is goes like this: it was a time for the girl to be say goodbye as her destination has arrived, as her station had arrived, and she was getting down. And only when the other person got into the compartment from there, and he started saying, apologized the narrator, and he said, I'm sorry that I'm not as attractive as the companion you were having just before me. Predecessor means just before me. Then the narrator asked, how about the girl's hair? How were it? How had she tied it? So this fellow traveler, he says with interest that I did not notice her hair, but I just saw her eyes, which were very beautiful, but it was of no use to her because she was blind. And this was a surprising remark that had shocked the narrator. He was shocked, and he also might have felt ashamed, and then he would have also felt outwitted and sad. Means he was being tricked by the girl in the same manner as he was tricking others. Okay, students, so with this we come to an end with the question answers of this chapter. I hope I made the answers clear to you, and I hope this video was informative for you all. Thank you for watching my video so patiently, and I will be coming back soon with more such videos for you all. Till then, thank you. Stay safe, stay happy.